Welcome to Java class. Today we are going to see the constructor in Java. Constructor is the same name as the class name. That is, the class name and the method name must be same. So class name and method name is same. It is called the constructor. It is used to initialize the objects of the data member. When you call the instance of the class, the constructor will be called automatically. That is, when you're creating object using the new keyword, the control will be transferred to the constructor of the class. It is a special type of method used to initialize the object. So the new keyword is used to allocate the memory for the method of the class. It called the default constructor if there is no constructor available in the class. That is, Java compiler provide a default constructor by default when you are not creating a constructor in the class. Example of the constructor. Here, class hello. Hello is the class name. Integer, we have to declare a integer type of variable x. So 4 byte of memory will be allocated for the variable x. Here, hello is the method. It should be same as the class name. That is the constructor of the class. Here, method name and the class name must be same. So the constructor is used to initialize the value of the variable. So when rules for creating a Java constructor, there are two types of rules used for a constructor, creating a constructor. The constructor name must be same as its class name. A constructor must have no explicit return type. That is, the constructor cannot return any value. Suppose there is a method in a Java means you should return a value. Exception case for constructor. So the constructor cannot return a value. It is used to initialize the value only. So we cannot explicitly specify the return type of the method. Here the method is constructor, so the method cannot return a value. Simply the constructor cannot return a value. Types of constructor. The two types of constructors are used in a Java. One is default constructor, another one is the parameterized constructor. Default constructor. Default constructor means there is no parameter in the constructor. That is, here the example for the constructor. First one is the syntax of the constructor. Class name, that is the user defined name. Then open close parenthesis should be mentioned. Here there is no parameter. We have to pass in the constructor. Simply used only the open and closed parenthesis of the class name. Example for the constructor. Example for the default constructor. Here student as the class name as well as student open and closed bracket is the constructor of the class student. Here the class name and the method name must be same, so it is the constructor of that class. Here there is no parameter should be passed in the constructor, so it is called the default constructor. Simply we used for a display message and initializing value only, we have to use this default constructor. Next one is the parameterized constructor. A constructor which has a specific number of parameters is called the parameterized constructor. The parameterized constructor is used to provide different value to distinct objects. We can provide the same name value also. That is, we can provide the parameter. It should be same data type or it should be a different data type. So parameterized constructor means the class name, method name must be same with the value, with the parameter. That is the parameterized constructor. Here is the example for the parameterized constructor. Student is the class name as well as student used in the method. So it is the constructor. Here the constructor have the parameter with the two parameter. So it is the parameterized constructor. X and name as the different parameter, different data types. So name should be used for the string. X is used for the integer data type. So when you passing data while creating an object, here class main st is the main function class name. So a student s is the object of the class, that is instance of the class student. New is the operator for allocating memory to the object. When I am passing data to the constructor. Here 10,001 and Akash is the value to the parameter. While calling object, the control will be transferred to the constructor. So 10,001 should be assigned to X. Akash is assigned to name for the constructor. That's all.